What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stimulus update. So, President Biden will sign the $1.9 trillion stimulus package into law, and he will do that on Friday afternoon in the White House. That is according to Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary. And because of this new stimulus bill, the United States will be able to secure another 100 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. We also know that American Airlines is telling 13,000 workers that they can just disregard their furlough letter that would have went into effect on April 1st. We know Amtrak will now be able to restore long-distance train rides beginning in May. One Senate Republican is applauding the $28.3 billion going to struggling restaurants. One House Democrat that voted against the $1.9 trillion stimulus package says that they are only against this because they wanted more stimulus for the American people. And progressives in the House are fighting to gain support for the PRO Act, which provides better federal laws to protect workers who want to join a union. There's a lot of stuff happening today. There's a lot of stuff that is going off of the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. There's a lot of things that were going in kind of in tandem with it to provide a better solution, a better future for the American people and the economy in general. Progressives right now say that Congress can't pass a bill to increase the minimum wage, but they are looking at other ways. They say that right now somebody needs to be looking out for these workers, and if this is a union, then so be it. But we do know that progressives are not done fighting for the $15 federal minimum wage provision. According to White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain, he said that $15 is what we are going for. That is their current target. They do not want to negotiate. However, reports indicate that progressives have been working on different paths forward in order to get a minimum wage included into the next bill. The next bill will most likely be President Biden's Build Back Better plan, but some are saying that there could be a bill in the middle of the $1.9 trillion stimulus package and President Biden's infrastructure bill, which he's calling the Build Back Better plan, simply because that plan, which is probably going to be anywhere between $2 to $4 trillion, is expected to take another few weeks before they even have the framework. So we could see another bill in the meantime. However, progressives do expect they will most likely have to go through a budget reconciliation in order to get the Build Back Better plan passed, which means they would not be able to pass a $15 minimum wage in this bill because, as we know, the Senate parliamentarian already stated that she would not accept this as part of the bill. So, we will get a lot of back and forth on this and most likely have to settle on an amount closer to the $10 to $12 range. And a lot of people are saying if progressives can get a minimum wage provision into the next bill, they should be very happy. However, progressives are saying that no, that's not the case. $15 as a minimum wage is just the beginning. They want to provide for the American people, and progressives and some moderates in the House want more help for the American people, and they want to provide this as quickly as possible. They say that in order to narrow the wealth gap, major changes need to happen. And we see this all over Twitter, all over Facebook, pretty much all over the news, where everybody is stating that our billionaires in this country, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, whoever, right? Any billionaire in the United States, they have increased their net worth by roughly $1 trillion. I think it's the top 10 billionaires in the country have increased their net worth roughly $1 trillion in the past year during this pandemic. But yet, millions and millions of Americans are out of work, do not have enough food to eat, and cannot afford to keep a roof over their head. So this is where progressives and some moderates are pushing to try to narrow that wealth gap as quickly as possible. This is one of the reasons why Senator Elizabeth Warren is also pushing for a wealth tax that would provide or charge billionaires about 2% of their, net worth over $50 billion. That is a big chunk of change. So this is why we will most likely see some legislation in the near future that would provide some UBI, universal basic income. We will see another round of stimulus checks. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not saying we are going to see another round of stimulus checks. What I am saying is we will see the legislation. We will see a proposal. We will see bills proposing another round of stimulus checks. But this time, in this round, it will most likely go to lower income individuals. So we can just forget about the $75,000 for an individual, forget about the $150,000 for a couple. It would most likely be brought down even further, because right now they're saying the people that suffered the most are earning anywhere between $30,000 and $40,000 per year. That's as an individual. If we use that same math, it would be for an individual, okay, make under $40,000, you get the stimulus check or UBI. Anybody that makes under $80,000 per year as a couple would also receive some of this UBI. As to what is the amount, currently, we don't know. This is still in the preliminary phases. And seeing some of the recent legislative changes made more permanent is one of the things that progressives are going to fight for. They want to see this child tax credit actually be a permanent fixture in the tax code. What we know is that, according to one person on Twitter today, she said that she introduced the child tax credits about 19 years ago. And so finally, they're seeing this child tax credit increase. That is good. Well, I think it used to be like $1,200 and then it went up to $2,000. That was under, I believe, former President Donald Trump. So don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. Probably should have looked that up, but I didn't. We also know progressives want to increase or actually further extend the unemployment boost. And this is something that I addressed earlier on today, and I talked about a little bit yesterday as well, that progressives would like to see the unemployment boost actually extended for people that do go on unemployment sometime in the future, because the first couple weeks are very difficult. And with states, you actually have a 1 week waiting period with your state before you get any payments. So it's actually very difficult. The first week is usually the hardest week, but usually the first month is fairly difficult. And some people just don't have that really in them to go and find a new job that quickly. So we will see what happens there. But then obviously we still have the student loan forgiveness. We can't forget that. That is something that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is going to continue to fight for. Elizabeth Warren wants this as well. So again, as to how this stuff will be paid for, this is going to be paid for with pretty much tax cuts. Okay, we will be getting, and when I say tax cuts, they're just going to cut some of the tax provisions that we currently have. So some bigger corporations, the Amazons, the Microsofts, the Facebooks, they're going to be hit hard, and they will have to pay for a lot of the stuff because they've been doing very well over the past, let's say, 10 years. But the Biden administration is going to come in and going to charge more for taxes. So we'll see what happens there, but that is most likely how the majority of all this stuff will be paid for. Then obviously you and I, with our taxes, we could see it increase a little bit, and then we will have to chip in as we always do. So we will see. We also know there will be a lot of discussions going back and forth, not just between, the progressives, then the centrists and more moderates, but we're going to see this going back and forth between the Democrats and the Republicans. But the Biden administration says that they cannot wait to at least let the people know what is in not just the future bills, but what is in this $1.9 trillion stimulus package, because a lot of people still don't know what will be in this. So, according to the White House, there is going to be a major campaign starting in the coming weeks to educate the American people on what is in this $1.9 trillion stimulus package that they could actually get. This means if you are behind on rent or utilities and you don't realize, I can go and get rental assistance and that will pay for my rent, or I can go and get, utility assistance and that's going to pay for my utilities. But here's the thing. Here's what I just want to point out, because this is something a lot of people didn't realize. Just want to point this out really quick before I move on to the next topic. But what we know and what I've found out based on helping many people get rental assistance is, okay, you can pay your rent. You're not behind on rent. You're close. You're right there on that, kind of on that tipping point where you can pay for rent, but you're struggling to buy food. What we know is that, according to a lot of local housing authorities, a lot of states, that if you are struggling at all, it doesn't matter if you're behind on rent, But if you're struggling at all to, let's say, pay for food or keep up with your bills, they say that you could actually pay for your food, your car payment, your insurance, your phone, whatever you think is an essential. You can pay for that, and then you can go and get rental assistance because now you're going to struggle with your rent. Now, I'm not saying don't pay your rent. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that, okay? I'm just saying there's ways to go around that where some of these agencies are saying, okay, that you're really close, you're right on the edge, you're struggling to pay these bills, so we're going to give you, let's say, 3 months of rental assistance. That should catch you up, and then you can make these payments to your bills, your phone payment, your internet service provider, your Roku and Netflix, or whatever, right? You can make all those payments, and you don't have to worry about trying to spread everything very thin. So that's at least some good news there. Now, and I said this a few days ago, the American people need to know what is in this bill. Well, just like I mentioned, by having the Biden administration or the White House or whoever come out and put out a campaign to educate the people, the public, on what is in this $1.9 trillion stimulus package, that's going to be key because a lot of people don't realize what is in this, and they don't realize it until it's pretty much too late. And then somebody comes out and says, well, why didn't you apply for rental assistance 6 months ago? Oh, well, I didn't know it was there. Why didn't you apply for a PPP loan for your small business, even though you're not, an LLC or you're not, incorporated or anything like that? You don't have to be. You just have to have a 1099. You need to show that you are, a business, have been a business since, I believe, since January 31st of 2020 or before. And you can become, you can get a PPP loan. And a lot of this money is pretty much free. You don't have to pay it back in many cases as long as you spend it on the right things. But again, if people don't know this stuff, how are they going to apply? And that's where I've said this all along, that the government needs to step up and educate the people on what is there. So hopefully this time will be different. But again, like I always say, only time will tell. In regards to the $1,400 stimulus checks, we will be getting them this month. That is according to White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain, according to the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, and according to President Biden himself. We will see these this month. Even Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer said this exact same thing when they were signing the bill. We also know this will go to every single American. That means people on SSI, SSDI, retirees, children, people in prison, people that owe child support, and anybody that falls under the income limits will get this stimulus check. And it will most likely be a full $1,400 because the phase out is really so tight. There's not going to be many people that fall within that kind of gap. So these checks cannot be garnished. So you don't have to worry about that. If you owe the IRS any money, you will get your check. If you owe a bank any money or creditor, you will get your check. If you owe any money to the state for child support, you will still get a check. We also know these checks are not taxable. You do not have to pay taxes on this. This is not ordinary income. This is actually a tax credit that you're getting an advance on about a year early. So do not worry, you don't have to pay taxes on this, but you do have to claim this at the end of the year. And the best part about these stimulus checks is the size. The size of this check is huge because many people are saying that this check actually makes a difference. We remember that former President Donald Trump was urging Congress to pass a $2,000 stimulus check. That was what he wanted. However, we knew it wasn't going to happen because of Mitch McConnell. It wasn't former President Donald Trump. It wasn't Nancy Pelosi that was holding these up. The House actually passed a bill that would have provided, it was called the Cash Act, it would have provided a $2,000 stimulus check amendment, which would give pretty much every single person a $1,400 additional check in addition to that $600, which is essentially what we're doing right now. So it's pretty much just 2 months behind, or 2.5 months behind, I guess, right now. So that's kind of what we know regarding the $1,400 stimulus checks. At least they're coming. They're a little bit late, but we will get them. Now, I want to address the child tax credits for the $3,000 and $3,600 because I've been getting a lot of questions on those as well. What we know is any child under the age of 18, not including 18, so 17 and younger will receive a child tax credit. A bunch of people have been asking me, why are children that are 18 years old that's still in high school, why can't they get this child tax credit? They should be able to use this money as well. The parents probably need it also. What we know is once you turn 18 years old, you are actually considered an adult. whether you're in high school, college, or whether you're off on your own, it doesn't matter. You are technically an adult by the United States standards. So you would not get a $1,400 or a $3,000 or $3,600 child tax credit because you're not considered a child. You also get these if any parent that makes over too much money, an excessive amount of money, would not receive this amount or this child tax credit, and it should come sometime in July. That's probably when we're going to see the first payment. We don't know if it's going to be a monthly payment. It's supposed to, but it could also be every 2 months, every 3 months, or maybe we just get one payment, and then we have to go and get the rest when we file our taxes in 2022. We do know that individuals making over $75,000 and couples making over $150,000 will get phased out checks. And you can figure this out. Just go off of how much you make in 2020 or 2021. Okay, go off how much you're going to make. And then if let's say you make $200,000 and then you got take away $50 for every $1,000 over that you make. So if you make, let's say, $200,000, what was that? 50,000 more. So 50 times 50 is what, 2,500? I could be off on that, but I'm pretty sure it's $2,500. If it's $2,500, let's say you have one child. That child is 16 years old. So you would receive a $3,000 check minus the $2,000 that you owe from the phase out. So you get a $1,000 child tax credit, and that would be paid out over 6 months. Or actually, it'd be paid out over 12 months. You'd only receive 6 payments of it, and then the last payment would come when you file your taxes. Again, it's complicated, but this is the way they currently have it working. So there is no cap on the children. So at least that way, you should be able to get a decent amount of money every single month for your children, depending on how much you make. But again, if you make $1 million, you're probably not going to get anything depending on how many children you have. As far as unemployment benefits, people keep asking me the same thing, so I just want to address this. What we know right now is people keep on asking, should I stop the state from taking 10% of my unemployment benefits in order to pay for tax at the end of the year? Well, I don't want to give you tax advice, but here's what we know, okay? I just want to be 100% upfront with you guys. I'm not going to give you tax advice. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but this is what we know at this point. I just want to provide the facts, all right? Go and talk to your accountant. They will be able to fill you in on hopefully more information, but again, if they don't know the rules yet because they haven't been written, because the stimulus bill hasn't even been signed, again, I understand. But what we know is this. The truth is that 2021, right now, could be taxed. It could not be taxed. You might get a tax waiver. You might have to pay the taxes on your unemployment income in 2021. The bill, the provision, the legislation to give you a tax forgiveness of up to $10,200 of your unemployment benefits, that's for 2020, not for 21. We're in a completely different year. So if you are currently getting unemployment benefits, I would say continue to let the state take out 10%. I'd say do this until we actually see legislation that would protect you from having to pay taxes on your unemployment income. Now, again, this is just my suggestion. I'm saying just be safe. Let the state take your 10%. At least you have that set aside, and then you can go and use the rest. But again, we could see changes on this in the next couple months. So just be aware of that. Make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe button down below so I can keep you updated on everything that we're hearing. Now, I don't want to bombard you with a bunch of different videos right now because there's a lot of stuff happening. But what I'm trying to do right now is I'm going to do more videos to outline what's in this $1.9 trillion stimulus package. I'm going to do specific videos on every single one of those topics so that you can keep updated on that as well. And you can kind of get all the answers that you're looking for just one specific piece of legislation. I'm going to do that. I will be addressing the new bills that will be coming up. This includes the Build Back Better plan. I will be addressing more on finances, and then I will also be doing other things as well. So one of the things I just ask is if you have any video ideas that you would like to see, any specific topic, please let me know down in the comment section below. I read all you guys' comments. I try to comment on as many of them as I can. it is just me. I'm trying to answer them, as best I can, as quickly as possible. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but I do want to keep creating more and more content for you guys that you actually enjoy. So let me know what you'd like to see. But as always, consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. You guys hopefully have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys on the next one.